review of the data by the pharmaceutical companies, and then they studied that.
So do you trust anybody then? Like, even here, we're pulling up articles, and who knows who wrote these articles? I've always said about me, there's articles that we could pull up on me, and I'd read it, and I'd be like, this guy's Hitler. Like, honestly, they're that bad. And if somebody just read it and didn't do it, they'd be like, this guy, no shit, this guy's the worst guy on the planet.
Right.
But
that's why freedom of information is so important, and freedom of expression is so important, because you've got to be able to find out what's true and what's not, and the only way is you get differing opinions and differing perspectives. If someone could write a very biased perspective on you, and they're doing it on purpose, it's a hit piece, they're trying to make you look bad, but then someone can write a glowing review that might ignore some of your flaws and some of the things you have done, and that's not real either. It's like you need to sort it out over time, and the only way that gets done is through freedom of information, freedom of expression. And if we don't have that, we're fucked, because then whoever's in control of the media, who's ever in control of social media or whatever the narrative is, they're the ones who get to dictate what's real and what's not real, and you can convince a lot of fucking people that things aren't true.
Yeah, so do you try, like, if you're trying to read up on something, I'm talking now the major, like, outlets. So whether it be you go on Twitter, your Facebook, but I'm going New York Times, Washington Post, they're one side, Fox News is the other. Is there any place where you're like, I'm going to get a clean slate?
Not from, I don't think from mainstream media. I think, first of all, mainstream media is so controlled by advertising. There's so many, like, if you know that 75% of all advertising on television is pharmaceutical companies. 75%. That's a big fucking number. Mm-hmm. If you think that they are going to have an unbiased negative perspective on pharmaceutical drugs or the pharmaceutical industry, that's not going to happen. That they're going to suppress that because that's bad for their business. It'll shut them down. If they lost 75% of their advertising, they would fucking go under. Think about a company like CNN, right? CNN is already hemorrhaging money, hemorrhaging viewers. I mean, they've dropped radically since Trump left office, right? If they came out and started attacking pharmaceutical companies and they lost all their ads, then they're fucked. So you're not going to get an unbiased, really honest perspective on anything that has to do with pharmaceutical companies when it comes to CNN or when it comes to any of these mainstream news platforms that rely on pharmaceutical companies for ads. You're just not.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't think any of those are. The ones you just mentioned, I mean, I'm super jaded now at this point, but...
And then you have ideological perspectives. You have the people that are in these ideological camps where this is this and that is that, and you can't differ from, you can't like have any sort of nuanced perspective or look at people that have a different point of view in a charitable way. You can't do that because then you're a sympathizer or you're platforming these bad and evil people and you're carrying water for, there's all these stupid fucking phrases that they like to use.
It's crazy how quick they jump.
Yeah. But also, they're fucking dying too. Like all those media companies, nobody trusts them anymore. And the reason why nobody trusts them anymore is because they're not trustworthy. Yeah. It's not, it's like, it's real simple. It's real clear. It's not like fucking, you know.
So you last that cigar with one light up, huh?
No, I had to hit it a second time.
Okay, good.
I hit it with this little lighter. It wasn't as loud.
Good.
Yeah, it goes out. I think that, it's an interesting time, though, because it's caused the emergence of... me, but also independent journalism. Like guys like Matt Taibbi, guys who were with these corporate news structures who left, and now they're doing it on their own. Glenn Greenwald, Crystal and Sagar from Breaking Points, all these kind of people that you can trust. Because even if you don't agree with them, you know they're not lying. That's all I need. So you can have opinions that I don't agree with, and I 100% support your ability to do that. I don't want to suppress people I don't agree with, but I want you to be honest. I want you to tell me what the actual data says, and even if your perspective on that data I don't agree with, at least I know you're telling me the truth. That's all I need. And there's not a lot of that in mainstream media, and that's why mainstream media is dying. It's it's controlled by these corporate interests that really care more about money than they do about anything else. Then like if you think that like the Washington Post or the New York Times is really just about getting out the truth, that's not real.
No, and those two are extreme examples at this point.
They have an ideology that they adhere to.
And what is I don't know what the right word is. if I wasn't doing what I was doing, I would still, because I don't pay enough close attention, I would still sort of believe the New York Times
100%.
was like a real thing. I just grew up New York Times. Oh yeah, why would they have?
If I didn't have a podcast and I didn't talk to people all the time and talk to people from different walks of life and different perspectives and different careers, I would have no idea. I would have no idea. If I was just a comic, I would kind of vaguely know that they're probably corrupt. Vaguely know that they're full of shit. But if I read something, I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. I would just take it at face value.
Same.
Especially if you have a regular job where you don't have the time to be looking into this shit. You're busy all day, and then maybe you have a family and obligations and fucking bills that are piling up, and you don't have the time to be sorting out whether or not the Washington Post is being honest about gender-affirming care.
And on top of that, Twitter is not the real world.